What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we have 5 amazing EX upgraded decks that you can play with some of the EX support in them. So let's see what kind of decks you can actually upgrade with these little bit of cards. So without further ado, let's dive right into the video and let's see what I have for you. So first off, we're going to go over Shoutmon DX. Shoutmon's been a little pet project of mine, and I've been trying to get it to work again for BT6, actually, / EX collection. So it's really tough because the space is so confined that you really have a hard time adding cards anyway, because roughly 16 cards of your deck is kind of dedicated to the Shoutmon line itself. So it's like they're all majorly important. So what I did was add a little bit of the EX collection itself. Biomon really does help out when attacking with this Digimon attacks a player, draw a card. So if we put this down and then we Digivolve into, let's say, our Dark Tyrannomon for 6k, that'll allow us to at least swing in for an extra draw, which could help for the card advantage we need. We also do play the new Shoutmon from BT6, which if this Digimon has Blitz, trigger draw 1. So most of our stuff on the top end has Blitz. Shinegreymon, Shoutmon DX will all have the Blitz and then Blitz Omni, so it allows us to at least gain in a card advantage. But I feel like having Biomon as an option for early game really does help out. Doesn't hit as high as numbers before, but it still hits like a truck. So we also run Digimon because of the fact is when attacking, when this Digimon attacks a player, it gets 1000 DP. So when this Digimon is gaining that extra 1000 when we're swinging in, that means our Dark Tyrannomons, our Agumons, or even these Growlmons can actually hit for something to hopefully survive. Then we do play one Caramon because while this Digimon has 4 or more Digi-Evolution cards in it, it gets plus 1000 DP. So similar to Digimon, but instead of heavy focusing on him for a full stack, we can do this in a lighter stack and hopefully have our Digimon survive. This Shoutmon is the backbone of the deck. On play, reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 Digimon with Shoutmon in its name and 1 with Blitz among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. When this Digimon has Blitz, it gets plus 2000 DP. The only reason why this deck is held back is there is no Blitz champions yet in this deck. Once we get Blitz champions, and then we have, that will be the red Gallantmon that comes in BT8. Hopefully that will help this deck gain a little more consistency. That's really the only downside of this deck right now, is you can't find your champions, and that's huge. Every other deck has a way of finding their champions with ease without having to have their red memory boosters in. So hopefully we get some way of more consistency when that comes out. I already talked about Shout and Bio. They both do the same thing, but at different timings. Then we do play this Agumon here. So when this Digimon attacks a player, it gets plus 2000 DP. That is fine by us. We like swinging with Unga Bunga numbers. And then we have Dark Tyrannomon for the mention of the Biomon, Digivolving on top of for 1, and then swinging in for that free beneficial draw. Then we have Agumon being in here to Digivolve on top of our extra ties here. They allow us to gain some decent advantage and hit for that final game push. If we don't have Blitz Omni, at least we'll have the Aguni, and we could win through that. Monochromon is in here for just being that 1 cost blocker evolved. So we have 5 1 costs, and then we have a bunch of champions in the rear that'll help us out. Then we have Greymon here with an extra security check. This one always helps out clear out that security stack pretty quickly, especially if we do this with a dedicated plan. We can do this with Shoutmon DX and then go right into Omnimon, and we could win the game from there. Then we also have Growlmon being a great option of a 4 cost, which does help us out, but also when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain a memory. So if we can pop 6Ks or less, we're going to gain a memory, and we could use it for a dedicated plan, because if you gain the memory after the initiation of Shoutmon DX's effect, you swing with advance, declare advance first / blitz first, and then your effects go off. So that can definitely help you out in the long game. Groundramon's just being Groundramon, just for that quick 5k drop, and then you have a decent board state. Now you can just go right into Zeeg or Shoutmon DX, just there for that quick evolve. Then we have Volcandramon being a security plus check. Then, you know, Omni Shout, while this Digimon has Blitz, it gains security check +1. Your Shoutmon can Digivolve into this from your hand, ignore for the cost of 4, ignoring this Digievolution's requirement. Really does help out. So if Shoutmon's already been on the board prior and you've used the red memory booster and you're at 2, pop the memory booster, Digivolve into Omni Shout, go right into Shoutmon DX, put a Zeeg right into Soul, and boom, baby, you're swinging in with a decent sized stack with 2 security checks and a Shoutmon DX that is popping at least a 5k blocker. Gurdramon's in Garudomon is in here for when this Digimon attacks a player, gain a memory. I like that, just so that gaining memory does get us back into after Shoutmon DX could pass us back to our turn, and that would be amazing, especially if you do it at the right time. This could bring it back to 0 after it attacks the player, because the Blitz activated. You're swinging in, you're gaining the memory, and then kaboom, you're back at 0, and then your opponent, it's still your turn, you can play out more, and that's what we want to do. And then we have Zeeg when Digivolving Blitz. We already know what Blitz does, but when this Digimon attacks with Blitz, it can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, which is huge, especially when Shoutmon wants to swing in with its Blitz. And then you have place 1 red Digimon from your hand at the top of the CG Evolution card. Then for each Omni Shout or Zeeg Greymon in the CG Evolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP. Hopefully we get another retrain of this Shoutmon DX. I really hope they give us another version. Then we have Omnimon Blitz. We know what he does by now. Unsuspend this Digimon, Blitz, and then if your opponent's effect would delete this Digimon or return it to hand or deck, you may prevent it by trashing a level 6. Since we gain a bunch of level 6s, this could mean very good value. Then we have Dedicated Plan. Then we have Red Memory Boost, just here for that searching. Gaia Force and Atomic Blaster are removals. We already know what Gaia Force does. Atomic Blaster, choose any number of opponent's Digimon whose DP adds up to 8 or less, delete it. And then we have Tai Kamiya, giving our giant Shoutmon stack extra pokes. Let's talk about it. Shinegreymon. I know some of these decks are not like overly tiered powered, but I figured it would be great to give you guys a good stepping stone to probably help you get on the line. But hey, we do have Shinegreymon as a very powerful deck. Security +1 and piercing. Yes, he is a little bit slower, but Nokia helps alleviate that speed by reducing the cost. Most players don't have ways of preventing reduced cost effects, and if we have a couple ties out, we can make sure our Shinegreymon swings in for a couple dozen checks. Another boss backup that I figure would be really good is Phoenixmon, because even though it's already base 3, Nokia won't affect it. It helps out with the extra security check. And then when this Digimon attacks a player, draw 2 cards. It could help us get back into the game. So Phoenixmon is just a really good get back into the game kind of card, especially after we lose a Shinegreymon, maybe. So he's a great swinger. His goal is to at least get 1 to 2 security checks and then draw us 2. As long as he can get us some advantage, I'm kind of happy. He's like a, I would say, pot of greed on legs. So I think that's really good. The longer Phoenixmon stays on board and more draws you get out of it, the more you're going to really appreciate the card. Bibitomon is in here for the piercing. Yes, it doesn't do anything for Phoenixmon, but our main objective is Shinegreymon. Then we have Gigimon, being if it deletes one of your opponent's Digimon, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. It happens with Shine a little bit. Agumon, reveal the 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 Digimon with Greymon in its name. Congratulations, that does help out. Then we have Agumon here for reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 Tamer and 1 Digimon with Agumon among them to your hand. That is our bottom line. We're just hopefully trying to grab the Tamer, or we're trying to grab, you know, the Agumons here just to help us out. So Really nice, being that we're not restricted to color with the Tamer search, so it does help out. Then 1,000 inheritable, and then the 2,000 inheritable Agumons. Agunimon's in here to digivolve on top of our ties for game wins. Greymon's in here for those extra security pokes. Then you have Greymon coming out of security for funsies. And if it doesn't come out in security, he's still a beefy Greymon that can be reduced cost by 1. Volcandramon's in here for the extra security checks. Ridemyavatar's in here for that Digiburst to play our Tai Kamiya. That is really his goal in this life, and that's what I want to keep him as. And then we do have Metal Greymon Alterius mode. So if the Digimon has Metal Greymon, we don't care about that. So it's inheritable. While this Digimon has Omnimon or Greymon in its name, it gets plus 2,000 DP, making our Shinegreymon 14 base power just by Alterius mode. So it really does help out, and it's a 1 cost on level 5. So if you go into him, you can digivolve a couple times, get a couple stacks building up, hopefully dig yourself out of the hole that it sometimes happens. Then we do have War Greymon, being when this Digimon security checks. This Digimon, when digivolving, this Digimon gains security plus 1 for the turn, and it shuts off options. It's another delicate plan on legs. Then we have Blitz Omni to clear out game wins, a dedicated plan for when your Digimon, this Digimon doesn't activate security effects of any options in check. Add this card to your hand. We have Red Memory Booster. Then we have Gaia Force, being Gaia Force. I figured Lightning Joust really does help out this deck. It will help Phoenixmon hit magic numbers if we needed her to. It helps Greymon here hit magic numbers that could pierce through and get us a couple dozen extra checks. And Lightning Joust is just such a powerful card that it's very underrated. And then you do have Atomic Blaster, being Atomic Blaster. Choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose DP adds up to 8,000 or less. Delete it. Bye-bye. Kills most ultimates. Then you have Tai Kamiya being in here for that big stacks, clear out multiple securities. And as I mentioned before, this is a Greymon focused deck, so at least she will help out on lowering the cost of our Shinegreymon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this list. Let me know down in the comments. Next, let's talk about it. Gallantmon didn't really get any support in this one, but I figured we could use a few extra draw cards or gain advantage in a way. I feel like the Bio and Gardurumon package really does help out. We gain memory from this, so that it keeps us our turn a little bit more. So when this Digimon attacks a player, this could mean that we don't have to worry too much about lost resources, so that we can use a Lightning Joust on the Gallantmon here and then restand our Omnimon for Blitz if we had to. That's just there just for the funsies. So we also have Biomon in here, so when this Digimon attacks a player, we're focusing on trying to get some extra pokes in. So earlier, the better, in my opinion. Guillemon's in here for that when attacking, draw a card. Agumon for that 1,000 DP boost. Agumon in here for that 2,000 DP boost. And then this Guillemon is the same. So when your opponent's Digimon is deleted, trigger draw 1. This one's based on attacks. This one is based on deletion. But also this lets you come back into the game. So when your opponent's has a level 6 or higher Digimon in play, this Digimon can digivolve into Gallantmon in your hand for a memory cost 4, ignoring its Digi-Evolution requirements. So Gallantmon, boom, boom, get right there, get back into the game, and hope for the win. Agunimon's being in here to digivolve on top of our ties. Then we have Greymon being the security checker that he loves to be. Then we have Growlmon being when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain a memory. So we combo it off. If you needed a line that had gain a memory, you gain a memory this way. Just helps out a lot. Then you have Volcandramon being extra security checker. So if you had the line of Volcandramon, Agumon, and then a Gigimon plus a Gallantmon, you're just going to clear out multiple securities, one check. It could really come in handy, because that could mean that it swings in for 2, 3, depending on the Gallantmon. If you swing with this one and there's nothing on board, you could definitely gain some more advantage. So you're guaranteed added 1 plus 2, 3, so 13 based with both of these Gallantmons here. and 13 base on Digimon when you swing in. Ridemyavatar's in here to play our Tai Kamiyas, and it just minuses opponent's Digimon by 2000 DP. Sometimes that's helpful enough to just remove threats. I talked about this card earlier in the video. Then we have Digimon in here for security control decks. If they're very overpopulated, at least milling them out by 5 really could help out the long game, because that's 5 cards resources they lost. Sometimes that's enough for you just to swing in and deal too much damage. If your opponent's tamer, if you have a tamer in play, you may play 1 level 6 Gallantmon, replacing the Gallantmons here that you lost or trashed, so it helps out in the long game. Lightning Joust is in here, so one of your Digimon gets plus 2000 DP, and then if the number of cards in your security stack is less than or equal to your opponent, one of your Digimon gains security plus 1. This is to help against security control decks. It really can come down to just how your Gallantmon walks it. So if you're like, it can trash a couple extra and then get a couple hits extra, that could help you get back into the game pretty quickly. Atomic Blaster, choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose DP adds up to 8,000 or less, delete it. So it's not terrible. Then we have the Tai Kamiya being Tai Kamiya. Then we have Analog Youth. Reveal the top 3 cards, add a Digimon card among them to your hand, trash the remaining cards. When one of your level 5 Digimon with Digi-Evolution cards is deleted, you may suspend this tamer. If you do, gain 1 memory, hatch an egg. So what can be really nasty is comboing Analog Youth. 2 of these out with a Digimon. Digimon dies in some way, shape, or form, triggering gaining 2 memory, hatching an egg, and it comes back to your turn, which can be very extremely nasty. Or you swing in with the Digimon and you have 2 Analog Youths to tie out. You're still at 3. You go to 5, 6. You know, go right to 5, and your opponent is kind of in a bad spot because now you have a Gallantmon out and you are up memory, so you can keep playing. Now let's talk about it. We have Bonds of Bravery. Bonds of Bravery really got some major love in this set. First off, it's got Shinegreymon, so it has an extra security check. When attacking, delete this Digimon. You may play 1 Agubond from your trash suspended without paying its memory cost. So this can recycle itself and regain advantage with Shinegreymon. Even though it loses itself, we don't mind that. And we have enough targets to make him Oonga Boonga big numbers. So we can swing him with 10k, so hopefully get the 2 checks you need. Or even what's scarier is add Lightning Joust to this thing. And then that's 1, 2, 3 checks at 12k under the right circumstances. So making your opponent really, really upset if this thing goes off pretty quickly. Then you have Koromon being Koromon, so if this Digimon has Omni or Greymon in its name, trigger draw 1. Then we have Demimera, Agumon for the top deck, look for a tamer. I feel like this one's still a little more consistent, but still testing. So just letting you know, this one reveals the top 3, add a tamer or Digimon with Agumon in its name, so you can definitely add the Bonds of Bravery. Agumon Expert is in here to return one of your Digimon Agumon in its name from the recycling to hand. This one is to help you warp into your beautiful Bonds of Bravery to do a couple extra checks. And then what's really nice is all turns, if you play a tamer with Tai Kamiya, gain 1 memory. So Tai Kamiya can come down to 2 cost or more if you have multiples of these out. Then you have that one, as I mentioned. This one is to give your Greymon an extra 2000 DP. This one just straight up gives 2000 DP. So both are beautiful cards. Agumon. Then you have Greymon. So while this Digimon has Agumon Digi-Evolution cards, it gains security check plus 1. Then we have Greymon being at the end of the battle. You may play without paying its memory cost. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP. Greymon I've already talked about. We know what Bonds of Bravery does from the regular Bonds of Bravery decks. We already know what he does. He's going to just delete a Digimon and trash a security check stack. Dedicated plans in here to shut off options, especially in the security control mirror. The Gaia Force is delete, just pop something. Lightning Joust is in here for the extra security check that sometimes you just need to win the game. I can't express how many times I just wish I had that card now. Atomic Blaster is choose any number of opponent's Digimon whose DP adds up to 8,000 or less, delete them. Then you have Marcus Damon, so this sets up just everything. You could play the Analog Youth instead to help dig a little deeper, but I feel like Marcus Giving your Greymons the extra swing and memory could help out just for that lightning joust place. Then you have Tai Kamiya, being when this Digimon, Agubond or Greymon, is moved from breeding area to battle area, gain 1 memory, trigger draw 1. So if you have a Digi-Evolution with Agumon or Agumon Bonds of Courage in your hand, by playing this Digi-Evolution, ignore its level requirements. If you do, trash the top 2 security. If you have 1 or more security, delete it at the end of turn. This card checks at the effect of evolution, nowhere earlier or less. Only checks at the cost of evolution. So if you hit 0 and then you healed later, that would not matter of its deletion. And then we have none other than our favorite Crusader, Jessmon. Jessmon is really nasty little guy. We had Biomon added in, but all in all, nothing's really changed much besides Biomon and adding the emergency program shutdown. So why do we use this card? As I mentioned before, if your opponent can't use options until the end of their next turn, this means security control matchup could be more unfavorable, or Lilith Loop's decks get shut down for the turn that they needed to kill you in. So it just helps you out in the long game, getting you to that OTK potential that you want to be in. Agumon in here, your turn gains 1,000. The reason why we're playing this one instead of the other trial deck one is so that we're more likely to swing into our opponent's Digimon than we are to attack the player. This one's in here to help us gain the advantage early game so that we can bait out our smaller form as we keep climbing with our biggers, our one in the stack, and just get there for the combo pieces we need. So that's kind of why we're doing it. And the reason why we play Emergency Program Halt without a white tamer is plain and simple. We have Sistermons up the wazoo. We have red memory boosters. You could definitely play ties. I mean, I subtracted the ties by accidental. I should have added a few more ties, but at the end of the day, you can add your ties in and still have a good time. I think this, all in all, the deck is quite rounded. You could definitely subtract 2 Biomons out and then slam in 2 more of the beautiful Tai Kamiyas. I forgot that I didn't have this. So you can minus the Agumon, because Agumon is useless without the ties. So let me fix this real quick. I just realized I didn't put tie. We want the Tai Kamiya, come out and play. There we go. No, we're gonna go that way. No, 2 for 2. Boop. That's how we're gonna do it. Subtract those. Boom. We got our ties. Sometimes this is what happens when you make decks early in the morning. So guys, what do you think of just these 5 amazing red decks for Ex-01 collection? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!